I'm Jay Clayberg, and I'm a co-founder of Explore Ranches.
I'm Allison Ryan, and I am a co-founder of Explore Ranches.
For many outdoor enthusiasts, experiencing inspiring landscapes has been confined to national parks or highly trafficked commercial resorts. Explore Ranches offers exclusive getaways to private ranches that have, until now, been inaccessible to the public. We're offering completely private vacations on some of the most wild and scenic properties in the U.S. Explore Ranches exists to share the experience of wide open spaces and the work of our fellow landowners with others. Traveling with Explore Ranches offers access to charming accommodations and a wide range of activities. Experience wildlife in their natural habitat, rivers at their source, and starry nights more brilliant than any other place on Earth. Along with our ranch partners, we look forward to sharing the best of Texas and beyond, hoping that you find your place in the wild.
The Withers is located in the Davis Mountains area of far west Texas. We're 10 miles north of the McDonald Observatory. The Withers is special because of its remoteness. Unlike most of our landowner partners, the Withers, well, it takes a lot of effort to get to. So in addition to not being near any major metros, it's also an 11-mile drive on primitive roads just to get there once you get off the highway, and that drive takes close to an hour and a half. So when you get there, you are really going to experience solitude. Not only was growing up at the Withers hugely beneficial in allowing me to find my own place in nature and in the wild, but as I've gotten older, it's where I've connected to my father, and it is the thing that I am most proud of my dad and my stepmom for. I'm so proud of two accomplished people for having this vision, because it was crazy. They had to build a water system, and they built a house in the bottom of a canyon where every beam and adobe and nail and door and window had to be trucked in on the back of a trailer across an 11-mile road that takes an hour and a half. So yeah, keeping it in my family is hugely important to me. And knowing that there are other people who feel that same way about their ranches and what they've been given, I want to help them do that same thing. My parents had the Withers before I was born, so I grew up going there. It's where I found my place in the wild, where I continue to find it. It's where I find a lot of peace and a connection to the natural world. The Withers is part of a 100,000-acre bioreserve. My dad became involved with the Nature Conservancy of Texas in the early 90s. He was asked to help gain conservation easements on many of the neighboring ranches in the Davis Mountains. And because he had grown up going to Prude Ranch as a kid, and then worked there as a young man and went to college in Sul Ross, he has had a deep tie and connection to that region for most of his life. And it was important to him to be part of conserving it. So he was eager to become involved and gave a conservation easement on the Withers and worked with the Nature Conservancy to help get other landowners to give conservation easements as well. Jay saw that I was trying to figure out how to help maintain the withers, and if there was a way to draw an additional revenue stream from it. And my background as a personal trainer led me to create a wellness retreat out there, and it was successful, and people enjoyed coming and were eager to pay to come out there. So Jay asked me to be his partner, and when we approached my family as being, part of the founding group of landowners, they were eager to support me in this endeavor, but they also saw what the benefits could be. I got involved with Explore Ranches because I saw the opportunity on both sides. I saw the opportunity for the landowner, and to be part of helping landowners draw a new revenue stream, a new and additional revenue stream, was appealing to me because I was facing that same challenge as a next generation landowner. And I want to see landowners be able to hold on to their land. I want to see the next generation of landowner not have to sell. And on the other side, I knew how fortunate I was to grow up having access to something like that and being able to spend, my childhood and my formative years in the outdoors with unfettered access. And the idea of getting to share that with people was really exciting to me. Getting to spend time in the outdoors as a child, well, I think it teaches you a lot about your place in the world, and that you're small. You're a small part of something very big. And we were taught, you have to be aware of everything in the outdoors, and you have to treat it with respect. Landowners have to take into account, first and foremost, probably liability. It was the first piece we solved for when we were starting the company. We knew that that was going to be what would allow landowners to come on board or not, was what the liability questions were going to be. So we have solved for that, and landowners have the option of continuing to use or sticking with their existing policy if it meets coverage. Their other option would be to use the Explore Ranches policy. The next requirement would be lodging and the quality of accommodations. It's one of the first things that we look at when we're considering partnering with a new ranch. We realize most of these landowners, are using old ranch houses, some of which have, been on the ranch or been used by the family for 100 years. So we're not expecting completely modern and new accommodations for guests, but everything, of course, has to be held to a standard of cleanliness and comfort, so that, when guests arrive, they're met by a place that they are excited about staying. Hosting can be approached in multiple ways. So we have tiers of hosting. There are non-hosted experiences, which means that the landowner greets the guest, or maybe it's their ranch manager who greets the guests and shows them around. And then everything from that point on is really hands-off, and the guests are on their own to explore the ranch at their leisure. The next tier would be semi-hosted, and that means that, the landowner, the ranch manager, hospitality manager is available for different needs of the guests. And maybe that means some guided excursions, or maybe that just means they're available, if something were to go wrong or the guest had a question. And then the top tier would be hosted. And that means that the guests are really attended to throughout their stay. They're guided, there's a chef or a cook, and it's a very hands-on, highly curated experience. Even if the landowner isn't going to be participating in that experience throughout their stay, it doesn't mean that we're not able to bring in guides or outfitters or adventure specialists or cooks or chefs, catering, whatever the guest really wants to enjoy the stay that they're looking for. When looking for new properties and new landowner partners, we look for quality of accommodations, types of activities, and if it's a place that guests will be able to go and have an experience that feels wild. We want our guests to have an experience they're not going to have anywhere else. We want them to have an experience that connects them to nature, that makes them feel something that they don't feel when they're on a typical vacation. One of the most rewarding things about providing these types of experiences for our guests is the feedback that we've gotten. The connections that they've made with the landowners, the connections they've made with the outdoors, grandparents having these experiences with their grandchildren, parents with their children, multi-generational families and friends. Getting to have these types of experiences are, for them, they're once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. They're experiences they haven't been able to find other places and in other ways. And so for all of us, it's been a great reward to get to share that and provide that. My unique position of being both a co-founder of the company and a landowner partner has provided a unique perspective. So I go into basically almost every decision that we have to make as a company and think first, how is this going to affect our landowners? Is this going to benefit them? Is this going to make this partnership more challenging for them? Is this going to be something that, makes this experience easier or more pleasurable for them? So I'm always thinking about the landowner and thinking about how my family would react to the decisions that we're making as a company. As a landowner partner, I want guests to have the best possible experience. So not only if they're visiting the Withers, but if they're visiting Hudspeth River Ranch or Elephant Mountain or Ranch 2810 Marfa, I want to make sure that they have the experience that they're looking for, and we not only meet but exceed all of their expectations. There are many benefits to partnering with Explore Ranches for landowners. Obviously, first and foremost, our initial goal of helping to draw a new revenue stream to help offset some of the costs of running the ranch and help keep that ranch in the family and keep it intact. But in addition to that, we know that there have been landowners who have considered getting into hospitality, and that can be very overwhelming to try to do that as an individual ranch. Not only are you having to build your own website and invest in marketing and advertising, but then just, running it as well, running that hospitality component. And so, with Explore Ranches, we've tried to streamline all of that for the landowner. So prior to partnering with Explore Ranches, most of our landowner partners had never had a hospitality component. So no one outside of their family and immediate circle of friends had ever been able to visit these places. So for people who had always been looking to experience the Devil's River, opening the gates to Hudspeth River Ranch was a big thrill. We know that Explore Ranches would not exist without the cooperation and partnership of our landowners. And so that's a relationship that we value and take very seriously. What surprised me most about this experience, has been how much fun it's been. I think we knew it was going to be a lot of work. We were starting a new company. I don't think we realized how much work it would involve and so many of the things we would end up needing to do. But it's been a lot of fun, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many interesting people and so many amazing landowners who are working so hard with what they've been given, and that's, to me, a huge blessing. And I'm so grateful to get to know all of these people. And then with the guests, it's been a thrill, really, to get to provide these experiences, and then to get calls afterwards about just how it exceeded all of their expectations, how, I've talked to a grandma over Christmas who was wanting to get gift certificates for all of her kids because this was the best vacation they had ever been on, and her grandkids are still talking about it. And I love that. And it's made every minute of it completely worthwhile.
I grew up in Uvalde. I'm a fifth-generation rancher. About 12 years ago, I started farming with a partner here in our area. And I rodeoed my whole life. I graduated from TCU, and I wanted to follow my father's footsteps and move back to the ranch and continue in the agriculture business. And so with the agriculture, we run cattle, hunt wildlife, and on our multiple places that we own, we have river properties as well. And this with Frontera, I partnered with my father-in-law, Herb Radeke, to venture out and to kind of diversify and try something different in an area that wasn't as developed as it is north of town. Raising a family in the agriculture field is, I think it's a great way to raise your family, bring them up. It's a give and take. For instance, education might not be as high as other places, but they're out in the wide open. We have these natural rivers, mountains. They get to see how their family ancestors grew up. Elephant Mountain Ranch is located in the Nueces Valley. It's 20 miles northwest of Uvalde on Highway 55. I selected Elephant Mountain Ranch because of the Nueces Valley, and it's not as developed as the Frio Canyon. And the water, that area is a large kayaking river, fly fishing, and compared to Concan on the Frio, that's more of a tubing, floating river. And the area is just not as developed, and I think in the future it will be. It's kind of like a hidden gem. The Nueces Canyon is a hidden gem. Not many people know about it. There's large ranches. The only access to most of the river is by county road or these ranches. When I think about Elephant Mountain, it's the hill country with live water and a West Texas kind of background, mountainous. You kind of have the best of both worlds. I got in the hospitality business not only knowing Jay Clayburgh, but also before my father-in-law, Herb Radeke, in the past has done it in Costa Rica and other places. He had fishing camps, and so we thought we'd diversify, step into that. The hospitality business has been great for us. It's been extremely easy. Everything's set up at the ranch. When you show up, the check-in, we can walk you through, check you in, or you can do it on your own. But we have not had any problems whatsoever. I mean, it's really been, it's the easiest thing we've done. No employees, that's a big thing. The only thing you have doing this hospitality on our end is a maid service. And then my in-laws live on the property. And so if there's any problems, they're a phone call away. My experience working with Explorer Ranches has been top of the notch. Working with Jay Clayburgh, which is a family friend, the ease of doing business, the ease of them tending to all of it has been exceptional. I mean, everything has gone great. And that helps me on my end, not having to deal with the people, the check-ins, the emails, and I think it's a great team. It works for both parties. The ease of operation with checking in guests, it was a little dilemma at the beginning with the COVID when we started, and it's progressed. It's gotten a lot easier. And so at the beginning, there are a lot of texts, a lot of messages, No one wanted to see face to face. So we left notes, and now we're meeting people in person, showing them around the house, pointing the mountain, the hiking trails. This is the river, this is the creek. It's worked out. It's an ease. We've had 100% positive feedback so far. The feedback from the kids to the parents. It's been the butterflies, all the different species of fish, the wildlife, not only the spring, but also the river joining together. But everything from the stars in the evening to the walks, to hiking, birding, kayaking, fishing, everything's been a huge success. Yeah, the revenue we've received from this, every little bit helps. It's not only for maintenance, but also for venturing out, looking at other properties. And that's kind of our whole goal. We've enjoyed this. We want people to see what they're missing out on and what we grew up looking at. And I think if this turns to the next level, the revenue stream will be extreme, and we can venture out, diversify, try something different, or stay along the lines and continue doing what we're doing. There's always going to be an upkeep. The more people you run through the property, the more upkeep you're going to have. And that could go with from the inside of the house, the refrigerator to the beds. The roads are used more, so there's always an upkeep on Mother Nature. Of course, we had the homeowners insurance. We have the liability insurance because of not only the river and being out in the wild and the mountain. Looking at property now, we're looking for river, fresh water, live water, no county roads, quiet. Accommodations can be a plus, wildlife. For me, the least amount of structures, the better. We can start from ground up, and build what we want. Unless it's a 18, 19, something very, very old that we can, for instance, like Elephant Mountain. Explore Ranches has dealt with the clientele through the whole process. They take care of the booking, communication with the client. It's been very easy dealing with Explore Ranches versus other rental companies because we're having to do from the tend to the booking, the insurance, everything. Explore Ranches has done a wonderful job from the get-go, from the beginning, all the way through the end, and it's an easy transaction getting people in and out, and it's worked well for us, and we look forward to the future.
I'm Alice Ball-Strunk. I'm the owner of the Hudspeth River Ranch in Val Verde County, north of Del Rio, about an hour. We have the headwaters of the Devil's River. My great-grandfather bought it in 1905. He had moved to Ozona from Medina at the age of 16. He'd taken off with his brother, and they started the newspaper in Ozona. And then shortly there, and he was also a cowboy and a cow trader. And so then he started his political life. He was JP before he was 18. And then at 19, he was in the House of Representatives for 6 years, and then the Texas Senate for 12 years, and then he was the original cowboy congressman for 12 years, 1919 to 1931. The road that goes through the middle of our ranch was the lower route to the gold rush in the late 1800s. And you can still see the ruts from the wagon wheels crossing the river. SHUMLA is an organization in Comstock run by a PhD, Carolyn Boyd, and they have interns from all the Ivy League schools, and they are in the process of documenting all the paintings in the caves. The paintings go back to 4,000 years. And so we do have some paintings on the ranch that are fun for the people to go look at. It's 3 ecosystems: the Chihuahuan Desert, the Tamaulipas brushlands, and the hill country converge. And so it's very rare, like we have 3 different kinds of quail, And also there are birds there that the birders, they aren't supposed to be there. So it's very interesting. The birders go, what? I can't believe I saw this today.
The flower and cactus, that'll be nice. Yeah, it's something
We're part of the funnel for the monarch migration. They come through in October and on their way to Mexico, and then they come back in the spring. Well, my mother passed away in 2011, Claudia Abbey Ball, but she had been grooming me to take over the ranch since high school. I had been to South Africa to study the one bite method started by Savory Locke. It's also called holistic management. And we've been doing that program since about 1985. We were one of the first ranches in Texas to start the cell system. You know, it's a wagon wheel with the water source in the middle with gates where they can move themselves virtually, and then all you have to do is go and clean out the pasture with horses or, you know, an all-terrain vehicle. We have maybe 52 cows is all. We're a sheep and goat operation, and we have boar goats who also originated in South Africa. And then we have Dorper lambs. More pounds of meat per pound. They're called hair sheep. We do not shear them. They're strictly raised for meat. And we sell the lamb in the white tablecloth restaurants in San Antonio. We've always been in the hospitality business as far as having whitetail deer hunters and turkey hunters. We've been doing that for probably 40 years. But when we got involved with Explore Ranches, we raised the bar, because when you have the same hunters coming out for 25 years, they come from Florida, most of them, we just sort of got a little lazy. So when Explore Ranches came, then we got fine linens, all new beds, looked like a bed store in the garage, and spruced everything up. We rarely fed them. We might feed them a meal or two, but now with Explore Ranches, they get breakfast, lunch, and dinner with a private chef. We have a house that was our house before we built the lodge, and it has 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, and then we have another house which we call Creek View. It has 4 bedrooms in it also. And then we have a garage apartment that has 4 bedrooms. And then another little house called the Hen House. We just have an array of houses all over the place. The Devil's River is so clear you can see to the bottom, especially in the spring. It has just amazed people. They just love Pecan Springs. That's where the river originates. And in the spring, it's really clear. It's known as the most pristine river in Texas. The Texas Water Development Board has used it as a benchmark to tell the health of all the other rivers in Texas. My concerns going into Explore Ranches was I didn't know if I wanted to open my ranch up to the public. And finally, I said yes. And it's been a great experience. We all get along great, and the people have just been amazing. I've been really impressed with the caliber of the clients. Very nice and appreciative people. Before you sign up with Explore Ranches, the landowners need to realize that it is a time commitment of the owner and the staff. And then we've had to bring in additional staff people to accommodate them. You just have to learn to make do and keep things flowing and have patience. And an itinerary is very important. And I say patience because we had many groups. They get up so excited and we want to be on the river by 8. Well, a lot of times it's not till 10:30 when they all get ready. The partnership with Explored Ranches has given us much more awareness, and with the extra money, we've been able to buy things that we have always wanted. Just as an example, We now have central air and heat in the longhouse. I never thought that was possible. And then we've ordered a generator which will power most of our compound, because we have had the electricity go out several times, and the city folk get a little worried about all that. And so we are going to be really excited to have this generator. And also just the simple fact is the boats. You know, we would buy maybe one kayak a year and carefully shop it. Well, now we have so many kayaks, they're coming out of our ears. And that's all because of the extra income that's been generated with these visitors through Explore Ranches. Our partnership with Explore Ranches has increased the awareness of the Devils River Conservancy, and our partnership with Explore Ranches has generated quite a few donations. The guests have been very interested in the Devils River Conservancy because when they come out here, they really appreciate the quality of the water and the springs and the fish. There's so many fish in the river. It's amazing. That's been very helpful that y'all do all the background work. Then we don't have to worry about when they trickle in, oh, did they sign the release? Which one signed the release? Which one did not sign the release? That's very helpful that you all take care of that. Of course, when you're bringing strangers in on your property, insurance is very important. And even though we get releases signed, Explore Ranches takes care of that also, which is very helpful. It's very important to have liability coverage in place. And Explore Ranches does provide insurance if you'd like them to, or our insurance just covered it the same, so we did not have to get the rider with Explore Ranches. But I want to stress that that's very important, that you consider your insurance needs. I think the partnership with Explore Ranches was very helpful to us because it's difficult promoting your own place. It's much easier when you have a third party representing you. Explore Ranches has made us realize that we do have a great destination. I know we love it ourselves, but you never know how the public's going to perceive it. And it has been very well accepted. And with Explore Ranches' help in marketing and explaining to the customer, we have just been full, especially during the pandemic. The only time the ranch gets guests is when we want to have guests. We still X out times for our family events such as Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas. But it's been a very smooth transition. I will either get a text or a phone call from Allison Ryan, one of the co-founders, and then we discuss the group that's interested and what we could provide for them and what dates would be best. Because we do need to have a couple of days in between groups to clean up and get everything back to the nice state it was before we were descended upon. So they do a lot with the bookings. It's so nice not to hassle with the bookings that change 5 times before they finally decide what they want to do. That's really helpful that Explore Ranches does that. Explore Ranches helps us decide how much to charge. Our prices have greatly gone up since we were involved with Explore Ranches. And Allison and Jay researched it extensively on what the market could bear, which surprised all of us, but it's been very nice to have that extra income. You know, ranchers these days, we barely make ends meet. And with the coyotes taking over and eating our sheep, our lamb crop has been, you know, we're down to like 50% by the time we feed all the predators. So it's really nice having another income stream, and it's really fun doing extra things that I never thought I would have a generator that would be able to take care of most of the compound. It's been really fun seeing people get so excited to come experience the river and just keep saying, thank you, Alice, for letting us come. Thank you for opening your ranch up to us. They've just been so appreciative that I've just been totally surprised. It's been really nice to see the improvements that we've been able to make. It's been a great experience, and I highly recommend you check it out.